Oh dear. Okay, if nothing is done, then in a few days the company will be taken over by an unfriendly corporation. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Plutocracy. We're back in our lovely office staring at our fire, thinking about the things we're going to spend all of our lovely money on. Mainly shares. Shares in companies, I think, is probably the way to go. Always is. Let's have a look at our newspaper here. A new state has joined the Union. Oh, joined the United States. This is cool. What state are we talking about? It's expanded. Colorado. Amazing. That's good to know. I'll delete the news. Let's have a look. So, is this it? Is Colorado? Yes, there we go. So a new state has joined the Union. I don't know how big this state is or what's going to be in it. What are their taxes like? 14%. That's way too high. So it was pointed out that in the good old state of Florida, where they have good, nice, low taxes for corporations, 7%, which is the lowest tax rate you could have in for corporation tax. It was pointed out that actually it would make sense if I went to a state that had the lowest for both corporation tax and income tax. And that makes a lot of sense. So maybe I should be thinking about that. I also realised that I can just look at this macroeconomics thing and set that to taxes, and then I believe the higher the tax, the greener the state will appear. So if we have a look in California, this should have a higher tax rate. So for whatever I'm filtering. So yeah, it's got a 21% corporation tax. It's got a lower income tax, but a higher corporation tax. Now, back onto this taxes thing. If we look at income tax, see some states are pretty light. This one here, incredibly light. What's going on? Laws, tax, income tax rate 0. 0% income tax. That seems pretty good. Only trouble is the corporation tax is a whopping 21%. So, what on earth does that mean? Maybe this isn't the state that we want to grow a business in. It's a state that we'd want to earn income in. Possibly, it might be worth going up here and just to Vermont, making the most of the tax rate. Equally though, that corporation rate is pretty high, right? 21%. We know that in good old Florida we can get it for 7%, so maybe not the best. Conversely, if I have a look at taxes again, and I look at corporation tax and then income tax, oh, some states are equally as low. Texas, good old Texas. We go to taxes in Texas, 7% for both. Wiggle room. If we could bribe somebody, then we could get income tax down as well. I mean, bribe a politician, get them to put this through, and then lobby to get the tax rate down or whatever. It's a whole part of the game I've never explored. But maybe this is the run. We start messing with this stuff. Yeah, and then just the 7% corporation tax rate. So actually, in terms of like places to be, Texas is a lot better than Florida in terms of taxes. I'm sure both states are equally as amazing for everything else. But in terms of actual taxes, no. Diaz Steel is what we're investing in heavily. We have 11% of it, which isn't too bad. The company itself, how is it doing? Let's remind ourselves. So the company is making 3.28 mil, and the dividends that it's earning, quite good. So 3.12 mil of dividends and a tiny bit into the reserve. So that's good because it means that the company has got some cash. I would like the reserve to be a bit higher, but we are building buildings and stuff. So the profitability of the company is looking better. But dividends, pretty good. Pretty good indeed. However, we are paying a bunch of tax on the dividends as well. So if we look at our shares, well, if we look at our taxes, yeah, the Florida taxes here, 21%. So we're paying $77,000 of tax in Florida, which is quite a lot, and it's all on DR Steel. West Virginia, we're only paying, alright, we haven't got many shares here, we're only paying $167 of tax. I don't think we're making much money from the Miller Brothers at the moment. Or are we? Oh, we get $2,000 in, which isn't amazing, but we're not paying very much taxes for it either. So yeah, focusing on the taxes that we're making from different companies in different states, it's probably something to bear in mind. So we can see that this is a whopping amount of tax that we're making. Now, I think it's a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, lower taxes means the business here makes more money, which it can then put into dividends, which means that the dividends we get is higher. But obviously then we're being taxed heavily on that dividend that we receive. So as a shareholder, and primarily as just a shareholder rather than a business owner, it kind of makes sense to go somewhere with lower income taxes than corporation taxes. At least it does in my head. It might not make sense overall, but kind of makes sense in my head. So I'm kind of thinking maybe we set up an office here when I get have I got enough money? Yeah, just so I can keep an eye on things. And then we just move to Texas. It's quite drastic. Quite a drastic action. Just to leave the state, abscond and go off to Texas. But that might be a better place to set up business long term with the lower tax rate, and maybe eventually get income tax down to nothing. That would be good, right? So that's an option. That's an option for us to explore. The other things we could do is maybe just ignore that completely. Continue to invest into DR Steel. It's doing well for us at the moment, but again, it might be worth diversifying. I did think maybe we could just try and buy up the entire state, but maybe we use DR Steel as like our catapult, giving us a nice amount of income, and then just leave. So that's another option. It will cost us 500 influence to buy this place. We have 1.5k at the moment. So when we get an office set up, and it will cost us maintenance as well, which isn't great. So if we're moving to avoid taxes, we will have maintenance costs for maintaining an office. But having an office means we can always check back in on the company and stuff, which is going to be probably invaluable, I'd say. So I think I'll go ahead and I'll buy an office in the state. Yeah, we've got a nice little picture here of what's going on. Fantastic. So I've got an office now here, which means we can move state. Oh, don't want to go to the stock market. We can move state. So I'm going to go to Texas. Hopefully the companies in Texas are good. I don't actually know. I'm going to assume that they are. Right, but we're in Texas. You've got some nice profitable companies here with a high dividend rate. That would be good for us as primarily as shareholders that are just looking to earn. So that might be worth investing into. We do, however, I have noticed, got that antiquity. And it's a watch, meaning we'll always be on time. Yeah, let's get that. Right, yeah, buy. Okay, we did well. 48,000. That's pretty good. Market price 53,000. That's, yeah, we've done well. We might find a seller for that later on once I've completed the collection. I do have a few things. We haven't got a collection yet, so we want to try and get a collection if possible, because that'll help us get more stars for our good old bookcase here. But let's have a look at a company to invest in. I think that's a good idea. So Cox Brothers, the steel mill. It's a metallurgy company. Fine, we'll call it that. They are pretty profitable. I wonder what the actual company is like. They've only got 11 workers, so it's not too extreme. Oh, and the opponent has bought shares here, so we could never actually own this company. But maybe I can buy some shares in it anyway. Let's talk to this person. Let's talk to Alex and buy some shares here. So I'll start the negotiations. Hopefully we can negotiate her down. Wow, she's a stickler. This isn't going my way. Oh boy. I think I'm gonna have to compromise again because I can't pay this much. I'm gonna push my luck. Yeah, there we go. Not as good as I would have liked, to be honest. But yeah, that'll sort of do for now. Okay, the police chief wants to get bribed again. Now, I did say I always bribe in this game, but we can just intimidate the witness, and that has a fairly good chance of succeeding. So I'm gonna try that for a change, and hopefully everything will be fine. And it is. you turned a familiar collector to convince the witness to recant their testimony. So that's great. We've done a great job there of being a brute. So this is the Cox Brothers company that we just bought in. I am waiting for a bit more cash to come in, but I will see if I can increase the work plan and get a bit more income for the company while I'm here. Let's get rid of that research rate as well, because this company doesn't really need to succeed. It's just going to be a temporary bit of cash flow for us. And worker rate, what does this do for the thing? Expenses goes up, income does go up. So yeah, we should vote that through as well. So let's get some cash, and I'll get that any second. Fantastic, so we've got a bit of money in. We do have the opportunity to buy a boat, but I'm way too poor to buy a boat right now. So maybe not. Let's have a look at what else we've got. So we've bought some shares here. It will be worth maybe buying shares in. So that is the low. Yeah. Wow, look at that. $1 bill. I thought that was a mistake. Yes, there's a company here with $1 bill market cap, so that's worth a fortune. That's probably a very good company to put money in and just leave. If I could ever buy any shares off anybody within this company. You do have this guy is quite cheap, but it does take quite a bit to speak to. This person here, a bit more expensive, but it's basically free to talk to. They have 5% of the shares. We would never, ever, ever be able to get anywhere near that, based on the value of the company. I say never ever, but eventually, eventually. But I'm going to see if I can buy some shares off this guy, hopefully below the market value. Oh, I'm going to compromise again. This might be risky, and it is risky. It means that I have to agree to the full price or the deal's off. No, I'm gonna refuse, and I'm gonna risk the No, I'm gonna agree. Oh, I made an enemy. Well, that's not good. I wasn't. Oh, I didn't do the thing where I've got a chance to recover. Have I not unlocked any of that on the bookcase? Oh, I haven't. Okay. Right, so that's a mistake. I need some etiquette. not to worry. We've only annoyed an influential businessman at a billion-dollar company. I'm sure it's fine. Oh, we could just buy on the stock exchange. That'll be way cheaper. I always forget about the stock exchange. Oh yeah, that was a company that went bankrupt. Let's do companies that I have shares in. Yeah, so this is the one in Texas, and this is our Diaz Steel over in Florida. So it's good to see that they're still doing pretty well. Yeah, Cox Brothers. We can't buy that on the stock exchange, but we can invest in the that £1 billion company. They've had a bit of a downturn. We may as well buy now, and that's going to be cheaper than we'd get if we were talking to a real person. But we do want to keep investing in higher dividend companies at the moment, at least in the short term. So I'll get back to that. And we've just made a deal to buy more shares of Cox Brothers because I think that's a good idea. Oh dear. Okay, so there is an event happening. There is a raid. So the CEO of the company Diaz Steel, where we own 11.8%, has reported that an unknown armed man has taken control of the company's territory, and one of their shareholders, Samuel Johnson, occupied the director's office and manages the company. Okay, it looks like a violent takeover of the company. If nothing is done, then in a few days the company will be taken over by an unfriendly corporation. Wow. Okay, so Samuel Johnson is the guy that's looking to take over the company. He's got 92.1 mil. He's a very rich boy. Yeah, so we can. If I do nothing, maybe it will work out. Either there are no consequences and the company isn't sold, or I try and convince the shareholders not to sell, and that Samuel Johnson would become an enemy of mine, but the company wouldn't sell. But there's a 50% chance there and a 66% chance there that our cash cow, Diaz Steel, will get taken over and sold. But we would get 1.69 mil for our shares. So that's interesting. I can't look at any information, which is really frustrating, because I want to see how much money I've put into shares. I don't fancy making an enemy, and the chances of a success for me are pretty slim because I'm not friends with the chief of police. So I'm going to say maybe it'll work out, and we'll see what happens. So 1.69 mil, possibly. Oh, we'll see. It looks like it's going to be. Yeah, so we've lost all of our shares, which means we've lost all of our income, which is a bit of a shame. But so where's our income coming from at the moment? It's coming from Miller Brothers, I guess. Oh no, we're making 42,000 from Cox Brothers at the moment, so that isn't too bad. But it looks like we don't need an office in Florida anymore, because I don't think we've got any. That's the wrong map. I don't think we've got anything in Florida. So that company that would now be listed as bankrupt, yeah, it's gone. So if I click that, yeah, it's now listed as bankrupt. So let's change that back to have shares, because that's a better view. Yeah, so maybe it's not worth having this office anymore, which is kind of a shame. But I could sell it and save on the maintenance, so I'm going to do that, because why not? So, wow, that's quite a change. At the beginning of the episode, when I was talking about relocating to Texas, I didn't think I'd be doing it full time. we may as well plunge our money into Cox Brothers and hope for the best. Our opponent is here, so we'll never be able to own the place. But let's talk to this person. How much is their stake worth? 1.12 mil. Yeah, let's talk to them and see if we can buy any of the shares of the company, or a good proportion of them. I'm not going to do it if we get a bad deal though, because it's a lot of money to spend. So I would like it to be a lot closer to the ask price. I imagine we'll probably have to pay over the odds though. But that's not too bad. It's not too bad. Let's agree there. And that puts us at 32.5% of the company. That also gives us a little star as a reward. So quite happy about that. That's quite a good thing to have. Let's use that, and I'm going to use it immediately on etiquette because we need to improve our diplomacy. Absolutely. So we're kind of like where we were at the beginning of the video, I suppose, but on the good side of things, our tax rate is pretty low. So although we're paying 24,000 in tax, that's a lot less than we were paying previously. So it isn't necessarily a bad thing. We do only have shares in 2 companies now. Oh, 3 maybe. Yeah, 3. So I'm only paying taxes in 2? Oh no, I'm paying taxes in 1 in West Virginia, only 7%, and two in Texas, again at only 7%. So we are investing now in places with a lot slower tax rate. So that's kind of like what we wanted to achieve in the last episode, we're now achieving in this episode. So we're getting there, slowly but surely. Marginal gains, that's what we're all about on this channel, marginal gains. I do have a bunch of cash left, so I can continue to invest. I like the idea of diversifying a little, so I'm going to try and invest in the next company down. So I'll speak to this person here, and I'll try and buy some shares in this bank because I think that's a good idea. Try not to put all of my eggs in one basket. Now, last time I tried to diversify, it didn't quite go to plan, but this is a good price. I'm going to try compromise again, just in case she really wants to get rid of her shares. Oh, let's keep going. This is looking good. Well, I'll agree. Okay, so we've got 7% of that bank as well, and I put our income up slightly, so we're now on 377. So not looking too bad. We've made it out of Florida, and we've now got all of our assets tied up in a company that is taxed at a much lower rate. Now, if this is something to say that the tax rates are going up, then okay, that's an interesting little notification. Don't know what that means. Does it mean nothing's happening? Okay, well I guess I can ignore that. And we have some news. I have made an enemy. We'd learnt that. We learnt our opponent made £1 million in wealth. And it looks like your opponent knows how to make money. Yeah, okay. Let's see how our opponent is getting on. So their wealth is at 2.34 mil at the moment. What's ours at? Enemies. 2.32. We are incredibly close. They are making more money than us at the moment though, so that's something we need to watch out for. Let's see if we can rectify that. So I'm diversifying again, and I'm trying to buy shares in a coal company within Texas, and I think it's going quite well. The negotiation isn't going too badly. We're going to pay below the market price for them, which is great. So we now have shares in Anderson Coal, and I just bought them off this guy, and apparently bought 6.93% of the shares there. So that's pretty cool. Let's have a look at the old statistics. Can I increase the work plan? Yes. We'll just try and get a bit more cash coming in, hey? That won't be any good. Dividend rate is quite high. Yeah, what else can I do at my other company's interests? So, Cox Brothers. Don't like our opponent here. So, what can we do here? There's nothing in reserve. That makes me worry about this place going bankrupt. Can I decrease the dividend rate? Would anybody agree to that? Probably not. There's no point in asking, is there? Okay, so I can't do anything there. And then this bank here we just invested into recently. Could probably do something there. Yeah, we can increase the work plan. Yeah, and I'll just continue to diversify each quarter. We do have the opportunity to buy a saber. And why not? I've always wanted a saber, although the saber I want is made of light normally. But it looks quite light. So it's compromise. We're all about marginal gains and compromise. Right. So we have 300,000 to invest. I could maybe put more money into Cox Brothers, but I think I'm just going to invest in Thomas and Partners. Now this person does want to sell, so hopefully I can get a cheaper deal from them. Let's up the amount of cash there. And I'm hoping for something in the region of over here, if I can. I'm too compromising. That's fine, we've made a good deal there, and we've got 4% of that company. So very good. We can also up our reputation as well. That should make us a bit better at negotiations. And we'll see if they'll up the work plan at this place. And they do have cash in reserve. The worker rate would help, so let's vote for that as well. And yeah, we'll leave everything else as it is for now. Oh, look at this. We've been invited to a charity event. You attended a charity evening in support of the poor, organised in high society by local patron Ava Bennett. The moment has come when Ava Bennett contacted you about making a donation. So, we can donate 50,000, which I don't have on me. We can make a motivational speech, or we can just not do anything. Now, we don't need to gain reputation at the moment, because our reputation is fine. We've got 5 out of 5. So I'm going to make a motivational speech, and this will either make Ava happy or there'll be no consequences. Yeah, I'd rather do that than lose my money that I don't have on me. Yeah, we do have the opportunity to buy a painting. I don't have any paintings yet. Okay, and the asking price is 200,000. I feel like I should be putting my money into business and not into paintings, but it would give me some renown, quite a hefty chunk of renown. So maybe I'll participate. Right, 285. I want to pay less than 3. I don't want to pay that much for it. I will. Well, I'll keep hold of it. I'm not going to sell it to anyone. It's going to be mine forever and ever and ever. So that only gives us 120k to invest this month. Let's see if anyone in Cox Brothers wants to sell me some shares. This is a calm investor, so they might be willing. Let's try it out. Yeah, they're pretty willing, and we'll get a fairly decent price. We might pay a little bit over, but that's fine. Excellent. Cool, so we're up to 35.9, was it? Yeah, 35.9%. It looks like our opponent's also actively buying shares here. So yeah, that's fun. Always a thorn in our side. Okay, and we've got another achievement, cash flow generator. Which is good. Looks like we're earning money. Very happy about that. We do have that star. Now, I think possibly going for the final stage of trading is a good one. Or maybe psychology. Etiquette is good as well because it means I can negotiate more. This would take our diplomacy skill up to 4, which means we would be much more skilled. let's cap off the trading. Marginal gains. we'll get a better price for all of the stocks that we actually buy. I think that's a good thing to do. Now, do we continue to invest? We do have a very small amount of shares here. Where are we getting our income from right now? So 3k, 26, 32, 416. Unsurprising. 5 and 40. So we're getting 40k from our Thomas and Partners shares, which is pretty good. So let's have a look at Thomas and Partners right now. How are they doing? Have they got money in reserve? They do. They've got a good amount of money in reserve. So they're a good company to invest in. 2.36 mil. Let's vote on a company expansion. Let's see if they'll go for a large building, because they've got the reserves to do it. And it looks like they will. Excellent. Now, let's see if we can buy some of the shares. So, I've just got to try not to make these people angry. I'll buy as many as I can. And let's try and get below the stock. Look at that. That's fantastic. Really good. I'm just going to agree there, because I think it's a pretty good price. So that's great. That puts us at 9%. I think that was a very good move. Excellent. Very good indeed. Are we now... I guess we bought all of his shares. That's cool. We're now up over $500,000, which is fantastic. I'm very, very happy with that. I do have some more money to spend as well. I do have more money to spend. Who am I gonna buy more shares off? Do I continue to buy shares in that company? So that's 9%. What about Ava? Will Ava sell us shares? Let's have a chat with Ava. Now, let's see what we get to. She might not want to sell as much as our friend before. So I'll just agree there. And that's good. That puts us at 11%. So does that make us the... Yeah, no, we're still the second smallest shareholder, where we're going to be, because of Alexander Thomas here. He's got a good 65% of the company, which is incredible. That means he is the boss. We're not the boss, but we're doing okay. I'm quietly confident now. I'm quietly confident. Let's check our progress. So we're now at 2085th position. So we're making progress. That's better than before. Let's have a good old butchers at our enemy. I remember the best way to do it is to look here. So we've got 2 enemies now. This enemy isn't our opponent, so I don't have to worry so much about them. Maybe one day we'll have to deal with them, but I can ignore them until we do. We've got one person who's loyal to us. He's a congressman in Florida, I think. Yeah. And we've dealt with a whole bunch of people that have no strong feelings one way or the other. We're currently worth 4.7 mil, whereas our opponent is worth 3.08. And we're making 525,000 every quarter, whereas our opponent's making 690,000. So I'm feeling good in a way, because we have made more money than our opponent in terms of our wealth, but our income is falling short a little. So we need to up our income as much as possible to overtake our opponent. They are doing well though, which is a shame. we are much more renowned though, so we've got that. Anyway, I think we'll call it there for today. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure as usual. If you have liked the video, please do leave a like. Keep leaving me comments. I love reading them and responding to them. It's good to see that you're all enjoying the videos and you've all got good tips for me, which is great. Because with your feedback, I'll eventually get there and be the richest person. But without it, I might fail. So keep that coming. And look, guys, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and it means that you'll be kept up to date with these videos. If you've watched this long, you may as well subscribe. Anyway, right, thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.